I leave for a couple weeks and I come back and this is what I see. It's not the same motorcycle, is it? I don't know. Sure looks different.
Yeah, well, I kind of got busy. And I did some playing around with things. I got the forks rebuilt and put back on.
When you say you got, hang on a sec, you say you got the forks rebuilt. You mean you rebuilt the forks?
I rebuilt the forks, put new seals in, filled them with oil, did all that monkey jumbo. And in the meantime, I got the plastics all came in. I ordered all new plastics for this thing. And put those on, put the forks on, redid the headset, oil, grease in there, got that all dialed in, put it all together and kind of just mocked it up for to get it to so it would float a little bit. And at the time I had the shock in there too. And of course it's gone now. It's out because you just saw that.
Yeah.
And playing with my wife did some numbers on in vinyl with her fancy dancy machine. But redid all the harness.
Okay.
The electrical harness that floats through here. The new rear fender came with a new light.
Nice.
And all that. Had to rewire all that stuff into the wiring harness. Got the wiring harness all run in here. Might have to redo a few things here because a couple things what I've noticed is like the horn is wherever the horn's going to land. I don't know exactly.
May need to be extended.
It may be, I may be able to just tweak the wiring, the harness a little bit. I've got some play in it, but I got the radiators mounted, the top hose in there, the tie hose down here. That stuff's all mounted. Got that all basically, and then the front end here is all done. And then I actually bought this fancy
It's
called a Trail Tech Endurance 2. It has let's see if we can't get a number on there. We can lift this thing a little bit. Get that thing spinning.
Oh, there it goes. 5 miles an hour. 4, 0.
So it's basically a new Speedo, and got that wired up and mounted. The mount kit for that. Got the mirrors put on.
Oh, looks good.
Grips. This might have to get modified a little bit. The length of the throttle tube is really long.
Now, is that the throttle tube that came with it? I was going to ask you.
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is a factory part.
And a lot of this stuff is just mocked up right now. You can see this is loose.
It's still loose.
So this is what he's in what they call the mock-up phase. It'll probably come back apart and go back together.
I know I'm going to have to take this radiator off because these two cables, the
throttle cable?
No, this is actually the clutch cable.
Oh.
And the decompression cable.
Oh.
From this side.
That's a decompression lever right there.
Yes. This is something we added because it was missing from this bike.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be here, but it was missing.
Yeah. Well, yeah. If the piston's in a bunch of pieces, that you don't need a decompression lever. Because know it's going to have a little slightly lower compression when the piston's in a bunch of different pieces.
But these two cables have to go in between the frame and the radiator. So there's not enough room, so I have to
pull the radiator back off.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
We threw some plastics on there.
Yeah, we threw a little bit of plastic on it. But remember from I believe it was the first video
Yep.
where we showed the preview of this thing in its state. This kickstand was quite damaged, and it was bent. The bracket was bent. The bolt was basically non-existent.
Yeah.
And I went through and straightened the bracket, did a little welding on it, did a little machining on the on a bushing in there, a new bushing,
Yeah.
new bolt, and this thing is pretty much
Money.
perfect. Yep. She works beautiful. Good to go there. Ran into a little bit of issue with the exhaust.
Uh-oh. We don't like issues.
Well, when the guy that owned it, that I bought it from, took it apart, I believe what he found was that the exhaust was an aftermarket exhaust, and it was all rusted together. It would not come apart. So he had to take more off of the bike in order to get the exhaust out
In one piece.
in one. Yeah, because it was all rusted together. You couldn't
Yeah.
get it apart. And the bike was more disassembled because of that. Well, I got the exhaust and I tried to play with it, and it was really rusted. I also found out that I took the muffler apart and found that somebody had gone in and gutted the muffler. This is the muffler. They gutted it. They cut out the core.
And welded a big old tube.
They welded a big old tube. And they also took out the spark arrestor. You can basically
Wow.
see right through that thing.
Exciting.
So there's no spark arrestor involved.
Custom.
Not so much. This was big gun exhaust.
Big gun exhaust.
In the meantime, I did end up getting this thing all taken apart.
Wow. Oh, you did get it apart. Okay.
I got it all apart. What actually worked was a ton of heat and quenching.
Quenching.
Yes. I
Hot, cold,
brought it
hot,
in
cold.
here. I got my torch going. I got this thing glowing red. I took it out of the vise and dropped it in the snow and froze it, basically quenched it. And I had to do that 2 or 3 times. Finally got these pieces apart.
Wow.
I think they're not in the greatest of shape, but I think they will probably end up working again. I did get and it's on order, it should be here this week, a piece for the big gun. It's made by Big Gun.
Oh, you're thinking about going back with the big gun.
Well, it is a possibility.
It's a possibility. We're just going, yeah. Okay.
It's a spark arrestor screen.
Oh, yep.
We can add that to this somehow. I don't know how yet,
Yeah.
because this has been modified and it's not going to go on direct.
Exactly.
But that's possible. In
Yeah.
the meantime, I was able to source factory parts.
Pretty factory parts too.
This is factory exhaust parts. The factory header, the header tubes, and the intermediate goes like that. And then the other piece is sitting out there on the bench.
Yeah, that big old muffler. I love that
big old
muffler.
big old muffler.
It's a super trap.
That is factory stuff. I sourced this from a recycler. Local recycler, the
Local.
same one that I got the shock from. This whole piece here, I think I paid like $140 for all of that.
No way.
Yeah,
That's cheap.
yeah, for all of that stuff.
That's cheap. This thing here
Yep.
is probably $400, I would guess, if you were to buy one.
If you can get it.
Yeah, if you
can't
can get one,
it
yeah.
anymore. They
Wow.
obviously don't make them anymore. But this stuff is factory, and this stuff will bolt directly on here with
and
no
be
mods
exactly
and
like
be
yeah.
perfect. I'm kind of leaning towards going that way, but we're
Gonna wait and see. Yeah, yeah.
we're in the don't know yet phase because we've got time.
Yep.
Updates on the engine. You got earlier, we talked about the crank being wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So we got a hold of a company in Tempe, Arizona. All they do is build cranks.
What's the name of that company? Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, I'm thinking. I've gone blank on me now.
I gotta ask the hard questions.
You do. You asked a very hard question because I can't remember right now.
Okay, we'll get back on that one.
We will remember.
Yeah.
Anyway, I sent that crank out, and it has been in their possession for 2 weeks, and they told me it would be about 2 weeks. So I'm hoping that we're going to see this thing soon. Maybe another week, maybe another 2 weeks. I don't know. But we can't go any further on the engine until
We have crankshaft.
we have a crankshaft, because that is the next piece to be put together.
I love this little tray. Perfect. You put all your gaskets in there, your hardware,
Yep, everything's there.
and just get ready. Just get ready for the parts to come home. Perfect. Well, Mike, thank you very much for the updates on the KTM 620.
Yeah, we will.
We'll keep you guys abreast. Hopefully, the next update, we won't see as much done. I'll be able to get in and get the little bits and pieces along the way. But right on.